From the 14th to the 17th of January 2026, the Nottingham Panthers participated in the IIHF Continental Cup. We got together after each game day to review the action, and we really hope that you enjoy these special editions of the Cat's Whiskers podcast. Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the Cat's Whiskers podcast. We are going to be reviewing the Continental Cup on a day-by-day basis, and here we are in the Bunkers Hill to review day one. You'll have to forgive us for a little bit of euphoria. We'll try and discuss this in order, but we'll see what we can do. So around the table we have Adam.
Hello.
We have Paul.
Hello.
And we have Ant.
Hello there.
Right. Okay. So. Let's start with the game earlier this afternoon. Also got the football on the other end of the bar, so this is going to make paying attention a bit tricky all round. So the game today against Herning Blue Fox and Angers Dukes, that was it was a good game to start the tournament off. I would say personally. My own personal assessment was that the Angers started better, and then about halfway through the first period, Herning found their feet, and then second period onwards, Herning looked the more capable team. That's how I saw it. Anybody else see it differently? Want to comment on that?
The first period was absolute doggo, if I'm personally honest. I turned around and spoke to one of our lot, and I was like, if that's the standard, that and supposedly like Herning are the team that we need to beat this tournament, I was like, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because I thought if we'd have been playing either of those two teams today, I think we would have come to it. I think we would have won. Honestly, I really do.
Second period onwards, as soon as Angers got their goal, and it seemed to like spark everybody into life. Herning just turned it on. Their power play. Oh my lord! What's it like to see a power play? By the way, I mean their second goal, absolute fantastic finish. But the third goal was just a beautiful power play goal. That's how you work your power play. And I think if they make the final and we make the final, we've got to stay out the box, because that power play is a killer.
Yeah, most definitely. So, go on. Sorry, Adam. Go on.
I was sorry. Can I put a disclaimer? My voice is really struggling. So.
I mean, look, right. Let's just put this out there. Adam's gone early. It's day one, and Adam is already damaged.
I will try my best to express my opinions and thoughts about that game. I agree with Ant. It was a bit of a slow burn to start with, and it really sort of took a period for it to kick into life. But I thought I was disappointed with Angers, because I've seen quite a lot of French hockey, and French hockey teams generally try and overskate the puck, and they did it again today. They skated into areas where they didn't really need to skate to. They could have dished the puck off, but because they were hanging on to the puck a bit too long, they allowed Herning's physicality to effectively just take them to the boards or muscle them off the puck. I was a little bit disappointed with them. I expected a bit more from Angers, but Herning, they grew into the game well, and by the end of it was a bit of a non-contest, to be honest, because I don't think Angers really laid a glove on Herning, and I was surprised, because I thought that game was going to be very even.
Yeah, I think I expected a bit more intensity for longer. I mean, it seemed like they were evenly matched until Herning decided to turn it on. Paul, what did you take from that first game?
Not a lot. I thought, as we've already said, I thought the first period, I wouldn't describe it as Ant did, but I'd say it was a bit like watching a rec game. The biggest...
The third, fourth place playoff game on a Sunday morning.
Oh, no, they were far more intense than that. But wait till you got the 5th, 6th placement game on a Saturday morning. Can't wait for that. No, but I thought D'Angers' biggest problem, apart from the fact that their name's spelt wrong on the IIHF video they keep showing, was that they just kept losing the puck too easily.
Played it a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, a bit of sort of pressure from Herning, and they were coughing the puck up left, right, and centre. And I think that's what did them to third period when they were trying to get back into the game. But they kept going forward, coughing up the puck, and then they ended up with going nowhere.
It was striking to me as well, the size difference between the two teams. Angers were very sort of wee and like energetic and what have you, and the Danish, Herning were just physically just seemed to they were huge in comparison.
It wasn't just that, it was the tempo that Herning played at. It was so far and ahead away of what Angers wanted to do. Angers seemed to be quite happy to just, skate the puck around their own zone. And every time they entered into the neutral zone, they were met by, 5 very, very big Herning players. So, it's like, how do we get the puck around these guys? So, it was frustrating really, because I wanted Angers to make more of a game of it. I wanted Jonathan Paraday to, have a bit more success in this building, but not to be.
But it's like, as big in stature as the Danes were, it was just like, I don't think they're a team that you would bully another team. I think if you went up against them and played physical against them, I think it's Thursday, it's Wednesday, it's day one. Thursday, bloody hell. It's Wednesday, it's day one. I think you can get at them, but they are, physically they're quite imposing. And obviously the Danish league is probably closer in comparison to what we've got here in the UK, and which is more of a North American style than you get in Sweden and in France, Latvia and the like. But yeah, it just for me, it was certainly after that sort of when Herning took control of the game with that second power play goal to make it 3-1. It was just striking to me the size difference. Poor old JP. It was just like, I know I said on the podcast on Tuesday night they were going to be my team for the other group, but as soon as I heard that there was Cardiff fans coming up to support, and I'm sorry, JP, I went straight away, and I know I'm going with the Danes.
Yeah, no bum slap for you. Sorry, Paul, you wanted to jump in there.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the. It's probably on your agenda anyway.
Paul, there is no agenda. We're setting the agenda as we go, on the fly.
Oh well, that's what we normally do anyway. No, I just want to talk about their fans.
Oh God!
Herning's.
Both sets. Oh yeah, both sets. Herning's didn't stop, did they?
No. I walked in because I sit in block 13. That was a mistake. And some of the drumming. We've got drummers, and I've probably made my thoughts clear on that before. But some of his. I don't want to get technical, but he was a very good drummer. And the fans bought into it. Yeah. And for 60 minutes, they kept being a bit like Ken and playing over the end of the periods, but they didn't stop. They had variety. What we got? 3, 4, 5 songs.
No. I think we're quite good for variety, but yeah,
they even, as far as I could work out, had a version of "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" by Belinda Carlisle.
You've got to remember, that's the first time that we've heard those chants. If you're a Herning fan back in Denmark who goes to every single Herning home game, you might be fed up with those, chants that we heard today.
But to be fair, Charlie went out and bought himself a bigger drum, cost him 50 quid.
That's commitment. That's commitment.
It is. And for the majority of that game, Block 19 were on point. They got us. They got everybody going. At times when there was other blocks starting chants, they kind of drowned everybody out. But that's what's going to happen when you're on opposite sides of the arena. But a big thing's been made of the Danes today, and then they had the in period, or one of the power breaks with the Danish fans, didn't they? But
don't that local microphone again.
no, but the Angers fans for 40 minutes. I mean, in the last period they were very quiet because their team was getting dominated at that point. But for 40 minutes, the Angers fans gave as good as they got, and they were terrific.
All I could hear was the Erling fans.
Well, to be fair though, Paul, you were sat right next to them.
I was sat right next to him, but I mean, there was a bloke in the back of the Angers fans, a Panthers fan, he looked like, who got a baby in arms.
I mean, that's the way to set them up. You know, if they can sleep through that, they can sleep through anything.
I didn't notice all the Herning fans though. That pretty much everybody had like Panthers scarves on for that last game as well. So.
Yes, apparently a lot of the away fans have cleaned Panthers land out.
It was looking a bit empty when I went in before the second game.
But that's the only merch available. Because they've not, and this was on mine. I made notes. I'm pointing at my phone like you can see me. I made notes. There's no merch, no Continental Cup merch. I think there's T-shirts and stuff. They did do. They did do. They've done pucks, but apparently they've put the Russian flag on instead of the Kazakhstan flag. So they've had to take the pucks off sale to get that sorted, which is it's embarrassing. But then you go into the arena, there's nothing. Where the Panthers merchandise stall is normally, as you walk in, off the foyer, it's 50-50 and shirt off his back tickets, and that's it. That's absolutely shambolic.
That is definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, where are the programmes? I'd have bought a programme. I'd have written for the programme if they'd asked me. But where are the programmes? Where are the side pucks apart from all in a skip round the back now that they're all wrong? If somebody can get hold of one, I'll have to have a word with Jono. Get me one of them. Perfect. But, like you say, I was walking into that arena today. I got money to spend on merch. But no opportunity.
Me and Sarah, friend of the show, has been on the show a few times.
Alumni. Let's call her alumni at this point.
We're desperate to get our hands on a Conti Cup puck, but it's embarrassing. I mean, look, this is a huge tournament for the UK to be hosting. I'm very disappointed with the turnout. I get the afternoon games because people have got to work. Tina, yourself, you're having to do half days just to fit it in. You're not as lucky as pretty much the rest of us who are either retired, Paul, or
that's not why I did it. That's not why I did it.
Or have used annual leave for it. But I was very disappointed. I mean, apart from the Angers fans and the Herning fans, that afternoon game. It was back in the old days of Sunday afternoons, wasn't it, crowd-wise?
It was Challenge Cup Clan midweek, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the protest game.
But talking about fans, tomorrow is the day we're going to have fun.
Oh yeah.
Because that's when Katowice play. They're going to be loud.
But there was. I think the Latvian fans seemed to turn up all of a sudden halfway through the game tonight, didn't they?
Third period, yeah.
And even though they were supposed to be sat over in 18-19 somewhere, I think because some of their fans were in a box above 13 and 12, they all moved over and then they sat at the back of block 12.
They should be in 8 behind Danger.
But yeah, I mean, it was just very disappointing. I mean, we've waxed lyrical about how well Panthers, IIHF, Motorpoint Arena, whoever's responsible, have priced this tournament. To see that arena tonight, at best 3/4 full, was very disappointing. But the noise was terrific because I think that shows the difference, and it goes back to those games where it was a lesser crowd, but you're louder because they're the ones that actually want to be there. They're not here for a night out. They're not here for a jolly. They're here to support the team. And you could tell the difference. The noise in that arena tonight, especially when we scored, was terrific. Paul?
It took me back to the days of the... sorry, Adam, we'll come to you in a minute. The grown-up...
The next time this phone moves from Paul, it's going to Adam.
The grown-ups are talking now. So. No, it took me back to the days of the Champions Hockey League, where we hadn't got a full arena, but we had got a lot of noise. You got all the committed fans in there, and it was really good to see. To be honest, I really enjoyed it. Anyway, let Adam say something now.
It wasn't enjoyable.
I mean, he's watching.
I'm not sure there's much left to say, to be honest, but I'm disappointed as well with the turnout tonight from Panthers fans because, if tonight was a midweek game against Glasgow, Guildford, Fife, no disrespect to those teams, but that arena would have been a lot fuller for something that isn't quite as important as this game. This game is part of something where at the end of it we might have silverware. Hopefully we'll have silverware. So, I totally get why this afternoon was quiet. It's only the real sort of hockey nerds and the real hockey aficionados that were there.
And those have got the annual leave to spare.
And those have got a lot of annual leave to spare. But, tonight, it's left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, actually, as to, how small the crowd was there. But, Ant was right. Those that were there tonight made a hell of a racket. And, it was almost constant noise from puck drop at the start of the game all the way to the final buzzer. So, props to everybody that was there tonight cheering for Panthers, but we really, really, really do need more fans in that building when we play on Friday, because there's a tournament on the line. And, the team needs you, the players need you, and, if there's more people in the building, we can be even noisier and we can drown out the team that we're playing. So,
well, that's a very optimistic view of it, to be fair, Adam, because the small pocket of Katowice fans that were there tonight, who weren't even watching their team play, they were very vocal.
The funny thing was about that is, they were going through their repertoire of chants late in the game, and a lot of the Panthers fans around the arena were just blindly applauding. And I was thinking to myself, what the hell are those Polish fans singing? Because we might be applauding along to something that is quite derogatory.
The Polish fans started singing in the last sort of 5 minutes of our game, and then obviously as is standard when we're winning, we start the black and gold Barmy Army with the whole extended We Are the Titans stuff beforehand, which is a lot of somebody, it's quiet because it's a couple of people shouting and everybody responds. So we drowned them out at that point. But yeah, you're right. I think tomorrow when they're all in, it's going to be interesting. I did, and you've got fair credit to the stewards today, in particular, this afternoon's game with the Danish lot, because I was sat in front of them. They were trying their hardest to try and keep it safe and PC and what have you. But yeah, you can do your best as long as you let people have a good time. And they don't go too daft. All fair play to them.
I have one question. If any Herning fans can answer, who are listening can answer this. Why do you sing all your songs in Danish, but the "We Love You Herning We Do" in English?
I'm guessing that the translation of that doesn't fit.
Well, it doesn't if you use Google Translate. No, it's a bit longer.
At one point I thought they were singing F the IRA, so it was just like, I've no idea. But
it's fun. I also want to point out, Viking helmets did not have horns.
Because the horns were literally there as ceremonial, so they could drink from them. That's the whole point. They were stuck on the side of the helmet.
Didn't have horns.
Yeah, the helmets that they had the horns on were ceremonial, so they could.
And this is your daily history lesson from Paul Baum and Antoine Marie-Jean.
There was one Herning fan that was on the. He was on the guitar, wasn't he? The air guitar.
Air guitar camp.
Who actually then ended the move by removing a horn.
No. He had a
It was in his pocket. It was in his pocket.
Yeah, no, I was going to say he removed the horn from his pocket and proceeded to drink whatever was in it. So fair play to him. So
I spoke to him during their game. I spoke to a few of their fans. We spoke to Matthew, our friend that we met in Cardiff. He's over. He actually spent that game in Block 19, so he's had a good night. Apart from obviously the Angers scores, but it's tournaments like this. This is why it's disappointing that it was half empty, because it's tournaments like this when we said this again on the podcast the other night. You make new friends from around the league, and we were talking to some Danish fans who through, and I'm really sorry, Adam can pronounce it properly, the Sondjerske, because there's a lot of Panthers fans that have become friends with some of their lot. And now, because of that, they're obviously the Danish league, they actually play each other at the start of March in a home and home series. And I think there's a few Panthers fans going over for that because there's been mutual friends made through that sort of thing because of Puri's tournaments and stuff. So, yeah, it's terrific. But I think we've about called it for today now. I think
we haven't even touched our game yet. And we haven't even touched on the Panthers game.
How long have we been going?
Long enough. So, but, you know, this is what happens when you wing it.
Yeah, okay. First period was terrible. Second period was great. Third period, we did enough to see the game out done.
Well, thank you for that very concise summary. But let's just open it up a little bit. The one thing I want to say before we go any further, the only thing I love more than David Noel's slap shot is David Noel's dog. Quite frankly.
And Chase Pearson was magic.
Yes, he was. Yes, Chase Pearson. Although
respect on that man's name.
Although.
The pass for Karat's goal.
Absolutely, yeah. And he he was ever present. He was he was a presence, and he was always in the right place. He was hassling. He was back checking. He was everywhere. He was everywhere.
And Kevin Carr shutout. Let's not look past the Kevin Carr shutout. He was great tonight. He didn't have to face a heavy volume of shots tonight, but he made 4 or 5 really, really good saves. It was tight. You know, I thought Mogo had some good chances when it was scoreless, and you know, he stood big for us, because if they would have gone ahead tonight, it would have made for a really, really tough assignment to try and get back. The way that they play, the way that, you know, the Latvians are, you know, it's all about speed for them. It's all about speed. And, OK, they're not the most physical team in the world, but, you know, if you go a goal down against a side like that, you know, they can kill you with their speed.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, I appreciate the point that you're making, but what I will say is that I don't think that they outmatched us for speed. And we're not the speed. We've got a line of speedy players. We've got that Hembrandt, Lemos, Doherty line that is speedy, but I don't think they outmatched us tonight.
No, I totally agree with that. I think you're right. But that first period that Ant sort of glossed over in his summary of the overall game, it was, look, I thought it was two teams basically trying to suss each other out and, you know, see what they were going to do. And I was quite happy that we got to the end of the period 0-0 because, you know, it gave us a platform to, like, go back into the locker room in the first interval and to say, right, OK, what we've been trying so far isn't quite working. Let's just tweak a few things. And it was evident in the second period that we did tweak a few things. Yep. I thought we dumped the puck in a bit more. We tried to get around them, sort of nullify their speed, and it worked. You know, the second period was the one where we broke them. We broke Modo in that period, which then gave us a chance to manage the game well in the third period, which I thought we did really well. You know, it's a shame we didn't do that against Coventry, you know, over the festive period. So perhaps Danny was drilling it into the players not to make the same mistake. But anyway, it was a really, really good performance tonight. It wasn't flashy, but we got the job done.
Yeah, most definitely. But it says something that we didn't have to be flashy, and we still won.
So I think one of the things that was noticeable for me was that Latvia did have quite a few younger players on their roster tonight. You know, that was evident from things like the face cages on the helmets. And I think in the end, our sort of hockey savvy actually got there. You know, we were like cleverer than them. You know, we used our experience across our roster to our benefit, and I think that's what helped get the win.
Yeah.
I think all of Latvia's experience was condensed into one man. They had a 44-year-old playing for them. They're number 9, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they had a lot of kids. Took me back to when we played
Riga
Dynamo.
Juniors,
Riga
Juniors. I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
When it's Riga Juniors, we just absolutely physically battered them.
Well, I mean, I had 2 players thrown out, but yeah.
Bob Wren.
Them were the days.
Bob Wren.
Bob Wren got.
Yeah, but basically that game was dictated by Lee Salters. That game was 100% dictated by. But we haven't got Elite Salters, and we still got the job done.
I remember bumping into some of the players from the Dutch team that we played that weekend. And they were saying how brutal it was to play against us because we were physical. We finished every check. But yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think, yes, they were quicker than us. But as much as, I've said it to you guys off mic, off camera, whatever. As much as they pretty much dominated that first period, we still had the better chances. And then that came good when it comes second and third period. And the third period was, I won't say it was a training period, but it was definitely.
It was a managing period.
Yeah.
There were times when the live feed needed a flashing sign at the bottom saying this is not a power play. We were just all over him.
Yeah.
And there was one point we were all over him. I looked up and it was a power play.
Well,
I thought, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I thought, and you said earlier about Herning's power play, but I think our power play looked really good. It was confident and it had some good looks. And I think it was I think it was a step up from our power play domestically.
I think the best thing was that gave us puck possession at a time where, in that first period, when we got that late power play, it gave us puck possession in a time that we were getting dominated on. They were physical. It was. I'm trying to say this in the most PC way possible, but it was like flies around poo.
Man and boy.
As in, they were just swarming us at all the every possible opportunity.
That clearly was their gameplay. As soon as we got the puck, they were on us. So it meant we had to spend the full 60 minutes battling and fighting for every puck.
I think, like you said, once we got that first goal, it was.
The first couple went in, their keeper looked a bit shaky.
Yeah. But we were good. There was a certain improvement in that second and third period. Well, I'd say third period was more control in the game, like you were saying. But that second period, we definitely turned it on. It was 15-4 shots on goal, something like that. It was one of them. It was just like we sort of absorbed what they could throw at us first period, and then second period we came out, we hit them where it hurt, and then we were by far and away the better team.
We were talking earlier about players that we wanted to give some sort of credit to for their performances tonight. One guy that's just sort of come back into my mind was Brendan Harris. Brendan Harris tonight was really, really good.
Yeah.
He managed to find time on the puck all over the ice, and that's really encouraging because someone like him, he's got amazing vision, and if he can find little pockets of space to work in, he will do a lot of damage to other teams. And as well, it's the whole sort of coming back from injury and the rehabilitation, and it looks like he's sort of seamlessly just fitting back into the team again. And that's really, really good.
Yeah, he didn't look like he'd been out injured today, did he? He looked like he was back to. No. For me, it was just like we've already touched on Chase and how good Chase was tonight, but my boy Brian Lemos tonight, who
that breakaway goal was superb.
Absolutely brilliant, and he deserved it. He did. Have I just nicked what you were going to say, Paul? He deserves it. He deserves his flowers tonight because Lemos was terrific from start to finish, and he always gives you that energy and what have you. But of all the players to score on the breakaway, it's normally you look to Henbrandt, and Henbrandt scored tonight. Ole. But yeah, the Lemos goal, he thoroughly deserved it. It was a lovely finish.
He just outweighted him. Outweighted the goalie.
And yeah, he deserved that. It was nice to see some just desserts tonight. And again, as we were saying the other night, there was football analogy from 1 to 11. I know there's more players on a hockey team, but from goalie to last forward, all of them put in a shift tonight.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
Yeah, most definitely. Right, gentlemen, I think we'll leave it there for today. We will reconvene tomorrow after tomorrow's games. Probably won't have as much to talk about. Now I've said that, there'll be some massive incident kicks off, and we'll be here for another half an hour.
And line brawls and all sorts.
Well, commentators curse in a way, so let's see what happens. But yes, we'll do this all again tomorrow, and then we'll do it all again on Friday. and we'll just see where. Just see where this all takes us. So, I hope you're all enjoying your Continental Cup so far, and I hope you continue to do so, especially if you're a Panthers fan. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back for another. Well, hello again. We are back in the Bunkers Hill to look back on day 2, game 3 and 4 of the Continental Cup. So once again around the table we have Ant.
Hello all.
And we have Paul.
Hello.
And we have Adam.
I think my voice might get through tonight.
Because you got special sweets.
Adam's been given some special sweets, so hopefully he'll be able to communicate a little bit more effectively tonight. And also, Panthers obviously not being in action today kind of helps. I mean, although, one thing I will say before I do kind of rewind back to this afternoon, I think we all got a bit more invested in this evening's game than we thought we were going to. Anyway, but we'll come to that in a second. So, first game this afternoon, Herning Blue Fox versus Torpedo, and I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to pronounce that any further. You're just going to have to go with it. I think quite early on, we kind of knew who the stronger team was. I think personally, I think for me personally, I expected a little bit more from Herning.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think you're right. Like early doors, it looked like Herning were going to carry on where they left off yesterday. But as the game went on, it was more of a case. For me, it was more of a case of there was a team that played yesterday and a team that's playing its first game, and then halfway through the game, like Torpedo just took complete control. They got the goals where Herning were being denied by a very, very good netminder. And it just went from there. But for me, that was the game of the week so far. It was just like you couldn't take your eyes off it. Something was happening everywhere. And if they didn't have this stupid 5+ game rule for fighting, we could have had 2 or 3 fights tonight in that game, I think.
Yeah, go on.
I thought, pretty much to echo what Ant said there, Herning had the better of the first 5-10 minutes. But I thought Torpedo played a very smart game. Offensively, they didn't really offer much early on in the game. But when they did get chances, you felt like there was a real danger that they could literally score with every rush. It was a perfect combination. They had, a great netminder to sort of fall back on, who made some wonderful saves. I mean, he's probably the most agile netminder that I've seen of all of the teams so far this weekend. His ability to go from post to post was great, and he was really challenging the shooters. So he's a real asset to Torpedo. They just seemed to make the most of their opportunities. They were quite ruthless and really sort of really potent in front of net. So, but just getting back to the game as a whole, even though it was 6-2, it didn't really feel like a 6-2 game because Herning was still, pushing quite deep into the third period. And I think that's probably what made it such a good game because Herning could have just downed tools, but they didn't. And they made it a really good 60-minute game.
They came up against a hot netminder. Yeah. I said to you, like in WhatsApp to you guys, just like, he looks absolutely, and I'm not going to use the word that I used, bushed. Yeah, we'll call it. He just looked, every time he got up, it was slower and slower every time but he was terrific, and he made 5 or 6 like proper worldy saves as well. Whereas yesterday, the Herning power play in particular was really good because it was quick, it was precise, and what have you, the passing and the movement and everything. This afternoon, they were a bit more sluggish, and that's why I mentioned about that. You could tell that there was a difference between the side that had played yesterday and didn't. So, Paul's probably got an opposite view. to what I said, but
Oh, I don't know. Let's ask him, shall we?
Not really, no. He did get very excited when Torpedo scored.
Yeah.
But yes,
because they've got a great. Well, they used the as the goal song. So.
there was a lot of jumping up and down and waving. It was like Patrick Munson all over again.
But it was great to see that they have actually got a small selection of fans over with them when they're up in Block 12. There's about 6 to 8 of them.
I think they were just, Kazakhs who were here. I don't think they were actually Torpedo fans, but yeah. I mean, it put the Erning fans to shame, but there you are. Do we have to talk about their mascot?
I mean, we can talk about their mascot if you really want to, Paul, and it sounds like you do.
Do I?
Well, you're the one that brought him up.
The queues of adults.
The queues of adults waiting to have the picture taken with them, guys.
Paul Barnes' favourite topic to talk about: adults and mascots.
But to be fair, he did have a very cool light up stick.
That was my moment of the tournament so far. No, it wasn't my moment of the tournament so far.
No, come on, bring it in, Adam. Just dial it back a bit.
There's a fan that was a few seats to my left that had an interesting object on his nose.
You can say penis. It's not a swear word. Yeah. Cock nose.
Oh dear, here we go.
But anyway, the stewards obviously were responding to a complaint from someone in that vicinity because he was asked to take his cock off his nose.
Wow, here we go.
Yes. So there you go. But no, look, I like to see that sort of thing because, we probably get fed up of seeing our own mascots, don't we, in the Elite League? Even though it's great to watch them fooling around at the playoff finals weekend. So to see a new mascot who their fans clearly related to and had a lot of time for, and there was a good relationship between them. Yeah, to me that's harmless. It's all good fun. All part of the culture of this week.
Well, it's like it's funny though, isn't it? The mascot wasn't here yesterday. They won. Mascot turns up today. They didn't just lose. They got pumped in the end, didn't they? But there was a bit just towards the end of the game that I found funny because he went down to the front of the plexi, right in front of where me and Aaron were sitting. And every time one of the Torpedo players came running in, he was banging on the plexi, and he was waving his hands around. And at one point, and like the Torpedo goalie, there was a bit of a break in play, and the Torpedo goalie came and did his, like goalies do, they do the skate around and whatever. And the Herning mascot did like the Karate Kid crane pose and everything like that. It was funny, and you can tell that's. People relate, they see somebody having fun and people can get into that. It's why Clangus is so popular. It's why Paul's has become, really popular as well because Paul's has got involved in the same sort of things.
It's about giving the mascots personality, isn't it?
Exactly. Other than the ones that just turn up and wave their hands around and...
most definitely. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. I mean, one of you has already mentioned the power play. That was quite clinical, and I think that was quite key in shutting down Herning. To be honest, once they, there were two power play goals in fairly quick succession. Somebody turned the Polish on. There were two power play goals in fairly quick succession, and I think that really did knock the socks off Herning. I think it was the start of their downfall, quite frankly. But also, as well, one thing I did notice, Herning's decision making when it came to the passing was a little bit odd because a lot of the time they were passing to teammates who were covered by an opposition player, and it just kind of it was odd for me to see because I don't often sort of have that in my head when I'm watching Panthers. I don't see Panthers players passing to teammates who are covered. You're always looking for your most clear option.
I mean, it was the one. Again, we waxed lyrical yesterday about how good the Herning power play was, and again this afternoon, it was a bit more laboured. They had that 5-on-3, and there just seemed to be no. And I said to you guys, didn't I? I was like, equaliser coming up. There were 4-2 down. They got a 5-on-3 for 1 minute 50. So equaliser coming because we knew how good the Herning power play was yesterday. It was slow. It was laboured. It was like watching us. And don't get me wrong, our power play this season is one of the best in the Elite League. But, we've been through years where our power play has been absolute dross, and they're just like sideways, 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 shot, sideways. It was a bit like that. It's like they'd lost an idea, and, effectively they're out now, aren't they? So
I think one of the good things about this whole week is that, you see different teams and they've got different styles, and I don't think it's possible for a power play to sort of function really well and be effective and efficient from game to game, because you've got such different opposition on both days. The styles are different, so a power play might work really well against one team, but it might be rather dysfunctional against another, just because of the way that the short-handed team sort of set up to defend the net. So I think there will be these sorts of peaks and troughs for how a power play might work over the course of a 3-game tournament, just like how your penalty killing units might work. It's also a part of this rich tapestry of hockey that we're seeing, which is really intriguing.
Yeah, most definitely. Anything else you want to talk about this afternoon's game, chaps, before we move on to this evening? No? Okay, cool. So, yes, we have just come away from the game against Katowice and Mogo, our opposition from yesterday. I'll be honest, I kind of expected the outcome that we got, but at the same time, as the game went on, it was less. Yeah, it was less of a foregone conclusion. And when we're all sort of around where I was sitting, we're all discussing the various permutations. Confirmation that it is 3 points for a regulation win, and it's 2 if you go into additional time. So
standard IIHF rules.
Yeah. So and then you kind of realise, well, actually, then if Mogo take the additional points, then that puts us in a really good position. As it was, Katowice come away with 2 points, but at the same time we've already got 3, so we've got our own destiny in our hands right now.
I didn't go to the game this evening, but leading up to the game, it kind of with what, close to 500 Polish fans here, I think the vast majority were expecting Katowice to roll out winners. We said about it last night. That first period was quite even, but then that second period we proper took control, and I kind of worried that Mogo were going to be the team that was going to get the wooden spoon, if you like. That we're going to get a bit of a humping today. But then sat here watching the updates and getting comments from you guys and what have you. It's just like, it's nice that they turned up and they gave it a proper go, and they maybe got the goals, whereas last night Kevin Carr was, especially first period, Kevin Carr stood in between.
I think the thing tonight with Mogo was they were afforded a lot of power play time in that second period.
Well, I'm going to say they got themselves into a lot of trouble with too many men, and then a delay of game, all in the same sequence.
Katowice.
Sorry. So Katowice.
So that gave Mogo a perfect opportunity to sort of get back into the game and spend more time in the Katowice zone. And even though the power play wasn't firing massively, it still resulted in a goal for them. They still got a power play goal. I think over the course of the game, Mogo's power play wasn't really that great, but they managed to get that one moment and score. But I think from that moment, Katowice were a little bit on the back foot. I think Mogo's confidence grew as the game went on. In the third period, I would actually say that Mogo looked like the better team and the one that was going to go on and maybe win the game in regulation time. So, maybe it's a case that, they skated with 2 teams in their game so far with us last night. They weren't disgraced. Mogo were not disgraced last night. 4-0 might make it look like, they got a bit of a battering, but I think they were fairly even with us in most respects of the game. Tonight, they kept it tight for the first 30 minutes, got themselves back into the game, and from then on, their confidence grew. So fair play to them. They didn't just roll over. They showed a lot of heart and passion.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, I found it quite funny. I've been sort of taking a leaf out of Ant's book and making a few notes today, one of the things I did sort of notice was, in the first period, I think Katowici's goalie could probably have taken his pre-game nap. But then they were all over him in the second period. So like Adam says, they really did grow into it and created some problems.
Well, it was one of those games, I said to the kids, first period, excuse me, Katowice could be 2-3 goals up at this point. And then come the second period, it was Mogo who could have been 2 or 3 goals up. I just want to give a shout out to whoever scored their second.
Yeah.
Just a flick on the backhand as he goes across the keeper. Great goal.
Yeah, most definitely. And the fact that they were keeping pace, like you've said, I think it was you, Adam. It gave them, the lift to keep the game close.
Yeah, they ended up so close to winning it. I mean, I was borderline shouting from third period. But can we just have a shout out for Stephen Anderson's penalty shot? That's the worst penalty shot I can ever remember seeing in real life. The only one I can think is worse is Riley Emerson's. Just look it up on YouTube.
Well, the other thing you can look up on YouTube is about, what was it, maybe 2 weeks ago, or maybe within the last week, Sidney Crosby did much the same. So, don't feel too bad, Stephen Anderson.
I mean, it's a little bit different now, though, isn't it? It was just compared to the last time we hosted a round of the Continental Cup, and we played Riga Juniors, and that was the game, wasn't it? Because we played, with the respect to Bipolo and the Dutch team, we played part-time farmers, what have you. But that last game, because they were effectively the feeder team for that last game, obviously we had a couple of fights, we talked about this and what have you. Such a cracking game, and then for the Latvian team now to make the final, and depending what Angers do tomorrow, they're going to finish bottom.
It's good. I think it's going to take something from Angers tomorrow.
Well, yeah, they need a big win, don't they? Because of the goal, how the goal difference is. Angers need a 4-goal. I think it's 4-goal win. Maybe even more than that, because they're -3, aren't they? Well, I mean, this is probably a discussion to have off mic.
We're all already, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get our abacuses out after the podcast and do a bit of mathematics.
Yeah. I also... Obviously, I'm sitting in my season ticket seat, and as anybody knows who's been listening for a while, I sit right behind the away bench. I just want to have a moment of appreciation for the Mogo head coach. That man is so angry that if you put him and Aaron Fox into the same room, the room would explode.
Who was it that Noel sent us a photo of? Is it the Katowice coach that looks like Nick Guest?
No, it is. I think it's somebody on the Mogo bench. I thought it was anyway. But.
Yes, absolute dead ringer for our friend Nick. Friend of the show. Yeah. But yeah, I think, look, tomorrow going to be an interesting one. If we've skipped tomorrow, are we talking about tomorrow yet, or do we need to?
I've got a question to ask of the three of you. Based on what you've seen, now we've seen everybody. Based on what you've seen, are you now coming into my 4 trophies?
Not yet. No, I think that Katowice and Torpedo are definitely they're definite concerns. I think for me, I think we're going to be quite evenly matched with both of them, because despite the speed of Mogo, I'm just having some stats flashed in front of me.
On Jer, we've got a
-3.
They're -3.
And
Torpedo are +4, so it's a 7-goal swing they've got to have.
a 4-goal win would do him. Yeah. Who knows? Go on, JP.
Yeah, come on, JP.
We want some more bum slaps on Saturday. Come on.
Yeah, get the magic bum slaps out. What was I saying?
That's my question. It is based on what you've now we've seen everybody.
No, as I say, I don't think so, because I think we'll be quite evenly matched with Katowice and Torpedo. It just depends who's done the better homework, and I know that Danny and Omar and Linton were all up in one of the boxes today doing their homework.
The key for me against all European teams anyway, stay out the box.
Yeah.
Keep your nose clean, play a smart game, don't resort to any retaliatory, I didn't say that right, retaliatory issues. Got there, second time around. But yeah, stay out the box, and I didn't see anything tonight from Katowice that really, really worried me. Thought the first 10 minutes they played well, but for the rest of the game, the way that Mogo managed to turn the game on its head, that gives me confidence that we should have just about enough to get past Katowice tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, I would say, just give David Noel some room. Quite frankly,
if you're a netminder,
start hurting people.
Yeah, if you're a netminder, you know the drill. Step aside when we're on the power play. Let David Noel have a nice, easy shot into the goal, or else you'll end up like the poor clan netminder.
Yeah, just give David Noel some room and let him work his magic. Paul, how are you feeling about tomorrow?
I'm not confident.
There it is, return of the great.
Do we need to hype it up by giving it sort of like a name? You know, like you get Super Sunday in football. Does it need something Friday?
It's Funky Friday.
Funky Friday. Oh, I don't know. That's a bit ambiguous.
Based on goal difference and everything like that, we need a point. I'm confident enough that we're good enough. I think we're probably expecting Grande to start tomorrow with it, doing the thing. And both Carr and Grande have been in decent form over the last month or so. If we can stay out the box and just play, I think maybe if we go for a first period like we did yesterday, we kind of like measuring each other up, and then second period, then you can start playing your game and stuff like that. I'd be fine. But I mean, for me, we're going to do it. That's trophy number 1, man. Come on.
It could. Yeah, I'm ignoring all that. Excuse me. It could well come down to the fact that we've had a day off. They have.
Yep.
I mean, that say Torpedo do it against Angers tomorrow. They probably will. They'll have had 3 in 3 days. We've got, we've got 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Which is
hopefully they're staying in hotels with very uncomfortable beds. Whereas our players are all sleeping in their apartments in very, very comfy beds.
If we find out if we get to the final, we find out where they're staying. Let's 3 o'clock in the morning with fireworks and everything outside. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's not beneath us. It's really not beneath us by any means necessary.
It's not. It's happened before, and that was to our own team. It was a long time ago. If the days when we played at Wembley, we didn't do very well.
Oh dear.
Move on.
Right, gentlemen. All that is left to do now is to prepare for tomorrow. Yeah.
Hopefully Adam's got a bit of voice for tomorrow, because I think we're going to need it. There was a amusing exchange on the social medias from superstar DJ Ken Feast saying, bigging up obviously our Block 19 guys. They're the guys and girls that are in Block 19. They're the ones that are going to have to start this off. And we said this last night. It's going to take a huge effort. But we can't just rely on Block 19.
No, everybody in that arena has got to get invested.
We need to treat it, and I'm looking at just our group alone. We need to treat it like we do at an away game. We go to an away game and we just have fun and we sing, and we need to do that tomorrow. We need to bring the noise, bring the atmosphere, and it's nice to see Paul Braisby getting some love at last.
Yes, the unsung hero of Block 19. Right, gentlemen, we'll do it all again tomorrow. Hopefully there will be as much joy and jubilation as there was this time last night, and if regardless, we'll take it as take the result for what it is, and fingers crossed for good Panthers results. So we'll do it all again. Thanks very much for listening. See you again. Once again, we are in a very lively Bunkers Hill around the table to talk about Game 5 and 6 on the conclusion of Day 3 of the Continental Cup. So around the table we have Ant.
Hey up.
We have Adam.
Hello.
And we've got Paul.
Hello, it's my turn to have the bad voice.
I don't think it's really your turn. I think we're basically all just kind of fighting it right now.
Paul was singing. Paul Barn was singing.
Paul Barn was singing. It must be a special occasion. Right, gentlemen, before we sort of get into it with the game we've just watched, let's have a quick look back on the game from this afternoon. I'll be honest, I've forgotten who the heck was actually playing. Sorry, Angers and Torpedo. So Angers was still holding on to some faint hope that they could progress out of the wooden spoon position. And to be honest, they for a little while they looked good for it, but they needed that regulation win, but unfortunately didn't get it. They looked a lot brighter than when they played previously, I thought. And I was rooting for them, you know. Obviously Jonathan Paraday is their coach, and I think we all wanted to see him do well. But it wasn't to be, unfortunately. They did get a win, which was nice, but unfortunately, sadly, it was in overtime. So because of the IIHF point scoring system, they only get the 2 points. Can't elevate themselves out of the bottom position in their group.
Well, they needed a 4-goal win, or 4 goals or more. And after the first 2 periods, it was like I generally thought it was a bit dross. It almost felt like a 3rd, 4th place playoff game to me. Basically, Angers were like giving it all. You know, they were trying their best. But then I thought Torpedo were just playing within themselves, and basically they knew if they could, even if they lost the game, if they lost by less than 4 goals, they were, they were all right. And it was only when Angers went 2-0 up, then you felt like Torpedo then started to play. They got that dodgy power play, and then, But, I mean, fair play. Angers won the game. The best thing is tomorrow, and obviously we'll come on to the celebrations of tonight in a bit, but the team we're playing tomorrow, they've played 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Let's make the most of that.
Absolutely, most definitely. Adam, did you want to say anything about the game before I sort of take us off on a tangent?
I think, as we saw in the first game against Turning, I think Angers were overcomplicating it at times. They were overpassing, and they play a very elegant style of hockey, but there wasn't really any penetration. They got around the Torpedo net, but a nice play would generally end with a shot wide, or having the puck turned over. So it was frustrating to watch, because I think those that are in the arena wanted there to be something riding on that game, and it took Angers quite a long time to get that 2-goal lead. And then Ant's right. I don't know who's responsible behind the bench, but it was a really, really poor line change that left an extra guy out, and the 2-minute men penalty. Obviously, Torpedo scoring on that pretty much killed the game as a contest. Although, having said that, when Torpedo equalised on the empty net, there was some fun and games from that point forward, and things got a little spicy. Definitely the spiciest that we've seen this tournament.
Yeah, most definitely. Although somebody else is probably going to have to comment on that further, because at that point I decided to take a toilet break. If you want to elaborate further on the shenanigans towards the conclusion of the game, Paul.
Well, it was nice to see some aggression in the game eventually. But I mean, all right, all at the wrong time and in the wrong place. But yeah, I mean, you're going to cross-check somebody in the throat, you're going to get kicked out. And if you're going to spear somebody in the nuts, you're going to get kicked out. I'm surprised he didn't get anything for his reenactment as he left the ice.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was Oscar winning.
Oscar winning.
It's the annoying thing about the the Continental Cup double IHF rules in it with a 5+ game for fighting, because I said it at yesterday's game. It was prime. There was so much stuff happening. It was such a good game of hockey, the afternoon one. But there was so much stuff happening like off the away from the referees and stuff like that. It was prime for just like 2 or 3 of them to just go, you know what, F this, let's go. And then it was the same like this afternoon. I mean,
It might happen tomorrow, you don't know.
Oh, well, there's every possibility.
are we really thinking like the first game tomorrow? I mean, I'll miss the first game tomorrow because it's, United City, but...
Well, we all make choices, Antoine.
Well, that's going to be like akin to, for me, that's going to be akin to the who's less hungover from playoffs game on the Sunday, innit, tomorrow, the 11 o'clock one. I mean, at least there's a medal to play for at 3 o'clock. They've got a bronze medal to play for, but...
I'll be checking the betting apps for a minimum number of goals.
Oh, mate, good shout. Good shout. I ain't setting my alarm for 8 a.m. just to do that.
No, it looks like Adam's in charge of that. However, when the fun stops, stop. All right, that's all we're going to say. Just a quick mention from me for the Angers fans. They were absolutely superb again. They were fantastic.
They were mint today. I asked, it was like... I mean, there was almost double the number there today than there were on Wednesday. It's just like, what a difference that might have made. Because they were terrific. I mean, Adam got a nice video of them doing the Les Marseillais, is that what they call it? Yeah. It was just a little bit disappointed that Ken decided to play a song right over the end of when they were singing their anthem. And I was just like, I know it's the French national anthem, but it's a national anthem, let them do it first before you start playing.
Yeah, it was a nice change to be able to actually hear them for once. Because the first game, it was them and Erning, and we were sat right next to Erning. We couldn't hear a darn thing.
And some of the Angers fans' chants were very, very catchy.
Yes, they were.
They were incredibly catchy. I found myself humming along and tapping my toes. So fair play to them, because they gave their team unbelievable backing today. And it was also nice to see a few Torpedo fans as well.
Yep.
There's probably about 10 or 15 of them in Block 12. Basically, all the Herning fans were elsewhere, probably in the pubs, and they're replaced by a dozen or so Torpedo fans. So well done to them.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if your mate Nino is listening, I want to know what that chant is that starts Allez, Angers. I love that, that's so catchy. I want to know. I want to know in French, and I want to know in English.
I'm not going to say what I thought one of their chants was, because there'll be Liverpool fans here that get on my back. But yeah, I mean, their fans were. They were. Don't get me wrong, they were good on Wednesday, I thought, but they did get drowned out by the Herning fans. But today they had their own, almost their own spotlight, and they were great. And it's sad. It's sad for JP, and it's sad for their fans that they've got nothing to play for tomorrow. They are literally in the beer game, aren't they? So but I mean, we'll just touch on the fans for a minute. I'm surprised. I mean, there was more Torpedo fans here today than there were yesterday. I mean, yesterday there was a couple of ladies with a Kazakhstan flag and some of the kids, but they actually had Torpedo fans here today wearing jerseys and stuff. Yesterday we had the Mogo fans. I mean, there's a lot of Panthers fans joined them against Katowice and what have you.
Yeah, but that's because we wanted Katowice to lose.
Well, there is that. I mean, if you've not seen the videos from social media today of the fans marching up from Market Square, absolutely, it's effing fantastic. This sort of atmosphere. We know what the atmosphere the Danes brought. It's been it's been a really, really good tournament. It can only be bettered by one thing tomorrow, and that's trophy 1 of 4.
Yes, indeed. Right, okay, gents, we will then move swiftly on to the game that we have just watched, which, quite frankly, was blooming marvellous. I think the game started at pace from both teams. The end of the first period, when it was 0-0, that's when I started to get a bit nervous. And then couple of goals, the first goal, scored by us, absolutely key. Nolan Vulcan, he has taken his opportunity by the balls, and he is absolutely running with it. And he's getting his rewards now. But the second goal going in, I relaxed a little bit after that, because I thought, yes, a 2-0 lead is traditionally, apparently, the hardest lead in hockey to defend, but I just felt like we'd found our rhythm and we'd found our groove, and Katowice just did not have a response for us. They were coming at us, but they didn't. They just couldn't get around us. Grande, absolutely deserving of best player because he got the shutout, but it's not like he had an awful lot to do.
It's similar to Carr on Wednesday, isn't it? It was just like, yeah, we were that good for me. It's the unwritten rule. Goaltender gets a shutout, gets man of the match. I disagreed with it on Wednesday because I thought there was better players out on the outside. Chase was the man of the match.
Chase Pearson was immense yesterday, and he was also very good. He's very, very noticeable, very, very present today.
I mean, Tim Doherty tonight. I know, Doherty. Timmy was fantastic today, absolutely superb today. And again, Grande is getting to shut out. By the way, 2 shutouts in 2 Continental Cup games.
Both games have finished 4-0.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's incredible. It is incredible.
You can't wax lyrical anymore, can you? About how good this has been so far, but
you can, and we're gonna, because this is not long enough.
But the noise, I just wanted to touch on the noise in the arena.
Absolutely, 100%.
It was akin, Adam said it, it's like, this is the noisiest I think I've heard it. For me, it was close to, not quite the Burn game in the CHL, which is still the best hockey game I've attended outside of the playoff wins. It was just fantastic, and fair credit to everybody who brought that tonight. There was a lot of cries out on social media about how we needed to bring the noise and what have you. And we said it in private chats, and I think we said it on last night's pod, but we need to treat it like an away game, because when the fans, we know what it's like when the fans go away from home, everybody gets involved, and that was what it was like today. It was absolutely fantastic. More of that on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm glad you brought it up, because I wanted to bring it up as well, because obviously, the Katowice fans were superb, as we bring in the noise and everything. And I'll be honest, it was difficult to hear what was being chanted in Block 19, but they led well, they kept the energy up, and it did. Whether or not the exact chant travelled around the arena, the noise travelled.
At the end of the day, Block 19 did what we said we wanted them to do, was keep the noise up, keep the energy up. I thought they were superb, and we need more of that tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow's 2 goals down in the playoff final. Yeah. We're just going to give it all. And
Can I just come back to the actual game and the awarding of man of the match to Jason Grande? Because I don't think Jason Grande alone deserved that. He was the tip of the iceberg. The team defended unbelievably. From the front to the back.
What was the shot count at the end against us? Because I counted about 10.
After the first period, we'd shot double what they had. So it was something like 13-7. It was nearly double.
We were terrific tonight.
Yeah, we were.
Well, I know. You know what? We said we had a slow start on Wednesday. We didn't have that tonight. I know it was 0-0 at the end of first, but we were by far and away the better team. And like you said, when you felt when we went 2-0 up, you were comfortable. As soon as we got that first one, I was like, yeah, game's done.
So, I think defensively, the team were absolutely unreal tonight. The forwards, back-checking, the forwards just never gave Katowice's forwards any time in our zone at all. We were so hungry to get our sticks to the puck. We wanted to get there first. We just never gave Katowice time to set up in our own zone, and obviously that reflected in the shot total on Grande. So why Grande gets the shutout and makes himself, an obvious candidate for man of the match, you've got to look at that as an absolutely stellar defensive performance from the Panthers.
Here's a question for you: Who do you start tomorrow?
Right, and I will give you an easy answer, because you've got to think about who needs to be your best player on the ice, and you've got a man who's rested, who hasn't played since the first day. It's Kevin Carr all day long for me, and I'll be very surprised if Jason Grande makes the start.
Well, could I play devil's advocate? Jason Grande knows what it takes to win a championship in this building. He's got that big game experience. So, I do agree. I think, all roads probably lead to Kevin Carr starting tomorrow. But I wouldn't rule out Jason Grande starting. He's just a big game player by the looks of it. We saw that last year in the playoff finals. Can we have more of the same tomorrow, maybe?
Well, I think tomorrow maybe there's a bit of a question mark because Marcinu went off down the tunnel towards the end of the game. Possibly we're looking at Curran tomorrow, Paul.
We are, because Marcinu fell into the boards awkwardly in the second, came back out after a bit, tried to play on, and he had a shot in the third period, and then that's when he went straight off. So maybe it'll be Curran tomorrow. We've got that option, or maybe if we think it's going to go to penalties, we just dress Fossier. He don't have to be in contact, does he, for penalty shots?
But we did talk about this, in the station earlier in the week, squad depth, and how, we're in a very, very good position at the moment with the players we've got available and what have you. And it's like Hildeman's not played at all so far this tournament. And, I waxed lyrical about, like, Strutsberg, earlier in the week and what have you. But, yeah, this is the position. We're in a position of strength because the off-ice staff and Danny have got players in, and they know that these players could come in and play a role for us. And I said to Adam, I was just like, if there's even like a 10% chance that Marcinu isn't fully fit, I'd still play Curran tomorrow, because Curran is good enough, more than good enough, to fill the role that the role that's missing. But the rest of them will all also come together and do what they do. I mean, we're in a really, really, really good position.
I think so. Right, gentlemen, it's getting a bit lively in here. So does anybody else have any other points that they want to bring up tonight before we call it a night and come back again tomorrow? Adam?
Panthers Nation, bring all the noise tomorrow. Snap up every available ticket that there is in that arena. We don't know how many Katowice fans will be there for that finals game. Start talking to Katowice fans to see if they will sell you their ticket.
And if not, just buy a ticket, bribe your way in, bring the noise, bring the energy, and let's get the guys over the line. And let's have that blooming tea tray back where it belongs, eh?
We want our trophy back. We want our tea tray back. We want our tea tray back. I mean, you could have joined in to make that less like.
I've got no voice.
Yeah, we're all struggling here. We're all on broken vocal cords and throat pastels, mate. It's not happening. Right, gentlemen, we'll do this all again tomorrow. Thank you very much, and thank you to you for listening once again.
To the bar!
To the bar! Thank you. See you tomorrow. Hello again, and welcome to what is now the final part of our Continental Cup special podcast series. We didn't manage to get a podcast recorded after the games on Saturday, so we have gathered together in the alternative podcast location. There are several broken humans around the table right now. We partied hard, I'd like to think. Around the table with me, those other hardy folks that have made it is Adam.
Hello, everybody.
And Ant.
Hello there.
Unfortunately, Paul got out of bed at quarter to podcast, so we've kind of left him to do whatever he needs to do to get himself through the day. Personally, later on, once we finish this podcast, I've got a date with my sofa, my Udi, and a box set. Right, gentlemen, let's just get straight into it, shall we? What a day. What an absolute day. I mean, none of us made it to the first game, as I recall. Second game was, decent level and standard because there was something to play for. There was a medal on the line. Herning coming out the winner of that. But yeah, our game, the first period, how that stayed 0-0, I will never know. It was intense, and it was. I'm trying to use some adjectives just to add some drama to it, but I just didn't feel the drama because I went into that game, curiously, for a Panthers fan, being confident we were going to win. I'll be honest, I didn't feel like there was any jeopardy for me.
I was probably the other end of the spectrum to that because I was really, really nervous, and the nerves really did ratchet up about an hour before face-off. Just because of the enormity of the game and everything that was riding on it. But I just had this fear that, we'd seen the Torpedo netminder Pestov play really well in the two previous games, and I just thought that, even though offensively we're probably the best team in that tournament, only takes one absolutely incredible performance from a netminder to sort of deprive you of winning that trophy. So it was basically, my fears were about Pestov having the game of his life and depriving us of that Continental Cup.
Well, I mean, just on that, because I will sort of lend a contribution from Paul on the night bus last night. He sort of asked the question, Pestov obviously got goalie of the tournament. How does a goalie get goalie of the tournament when two other goalies got shut out?
Because he played all three. I think that's the answer to that. I do understand where Paul's coming from because, Grande and Carr in their shutouts were both absolutely exemplary. They didn't put a foot or a skate wrong. I think Pestov just showed that consistency throughout all three games, which probably clinched the goalie of the tournament award for him.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, we finally get on the board with a superb bit of work, which sees Matt Spencer enjoying a bit of backdoor action for now. And I think that was just the start, really. I think that was it was the break in the deadlock that was needed, Ant.
Where do we start? I think to be fair, as the afternoon went on, I was a bit more where you were, Tina. Obviously, the day had started very, very well for me personally.
Well, you were busy watching the football.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very, very good day yesterday. So from feeling like absolute death yesterday morning, I was proper playoffed. Let's put it proper playoff. That the football certainly, turned things around, and then I was watching that game, and I'm like, I wasn't worried. I knew it was a case of when that first goal would come. That it was a case of when, not if. And you touched on the first goal. That second goal was just the work to lead up to Vulcan's goal was just. I've watched that a few times since.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Rembrandt does some stellar work, as he does, getting into the zone first, holding on to that. Vulcan's assist was absolutely beautiful. And Lemos was all alone. He just snuck in and nobody even saw him coming. And it was just wonderful. I think there was possibly, in the back of my mind, the thought that Torpedo might come back, we'd have a bit of, backwards and forwards.
When it got to 3-2, at that point I was like, they can't, can they? 30 seconds to go.
You skipped a big chunk of the game there.
Well, I'll just say, just something interesting that Steve, who sits behind me, said. He said, we can never just bloody win it, can we? And there's always something. There's definitely always something. But I mean, let's kind of dial it back a wee bit as well. Let's just have a moment of appreciation for Cooper's ex. penalty shot, because I think we can all kind of acknowledge really that Cooper Zeka's not had the kind of season that he had last season. He was he'd created an office for himself on the hash marks, around the left face-off dot, but he's just not. Scoring wise, he's not been as effective, and I think he's kind of lost a bit of confidence from it, and I think that was the kind of thing that he really needed, because from that point I noticed a change in him. I noticed that he stood a bit taller. He was going for a few more shots. He was more positive in his play. So I think it was just what he needed, just to solidify his belief in himself.
Yeah, I think basically David Noel has probably come in and taken his role on the power play that he had last season, quarterbacking everything. And obviously, Noel, you could say, is a slight upgrade in terms of that amazing shot that he's got, that slap shot, which is an absolute cannon, and every netminder should be afraid of.
Well, I said to him last night, I said, keep doing what you're doing, because you are terrifying people, and I am here for it. I'm here for this content.
Exactly. And whereas, where Noel has got that cannon of a slap shot, I think Cooper Zeka is a bit more of a sort of finesse player. Yes. He's a bit more of a visionary D-man who can sort of see a pass and sort of break the ice open a little bit. So, yeah, it was great to see him, almost put on the spot, and have the spotlight shining on him for that penalty shot. And he finish it well? It was beautiful. Just moved hands and sat Pestov down, and basically just almost caressed it into an empty net. It just all looked so seamlessly good and so creative.
He deserves a bit of love. I think, like you're saying, he's stuttered a little bit over the last couple of months, but no, he was, but to a man, each and every one of them this week, you can't identify a weak link at all. We've got scoring on all four lines. Yeah. We've got 3 pairs of D that are just, phenomenal. The way they work together. It was interesting. Stridsberg was in for all 3 games, which I'm obviously I waxed a lyrical about him earlier in the week, so I was pleased for that personally. But
well, just while you're talking about the defence. One person who comes under fire, gets a lot of criticism, is Josh Tetlow. I think he had a very responsible week. Josh Tetlow is not a flashy guy. He is your stay-at-home D-man, but he was very defensively responsible. He was reliable, and he made a lot of good plays. He made a lot of sensible plays, which a less experienced defenseman might have been tempted to do something a bit silly that would have exposed us a bit, but everything he did, he thought about it. There was a lot of thought behind everything he did.
Yeah, and the conversations that we generally have around where I sit in the arena for Panthers games, and we're sort of like commenting on Josh's performances, I think we sort of widely accept that Josh Tetlow will be most effective as a D-man when he just keeps things really basic and simple. Yeah. And that's not a slight on him, because he probably isn't the sort of technical D-man that, others like Noel and Cooper Zeka are. But, he's got a role, he's got a job, and he did it brilliantly in all those games this week. So, yeah, I think for Josh, simplicity is everything.
I hope somebody got him a kebab last night. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. But if we're throwing love around to other Brits, well, I mean, all our Brits this week were great, but it's brilliant to see someone like Jordan Kelsall, play a really prominent role as well in a couple of the goals. I mean, I don't quite remember if he got accredited with an assist for one of the goals, but there's one goal in particular, I think, where he sort of maybe took a D-man away a little bit to buy some space.
Yes.
I can't quite remember which goal it was.
Oh, was it? It was one of Hembrandt's.
Yes, that's right. One of Hembrandt's. But yeah, I mean, that sort of thing, flies under the radar and is a little bit unheralded. So fair play, but you know what you get with all of our Brits. You get maximum effort all the time, and it's good. And personal point, how Jordan Kelsall does not get into this GB setup, I do not know, but that's a discussion for another day when I've got a bit more voice.
Well, I mean, that's a discussion we could have several days over several podcasts. But in terms of that line, that fourth line, the fourth line of Brits, they did their job superbly. They're the energy line. Yeah. They are the line that goes out and gives everybody else. Gives you natural, gives your expected goal scorers a chance to recover, be at their best. But that line, Betteridge, Ulrich, Kelsall, they were at their best because they hit everything that moved. They went for every puck. They chased everything down, and they made a difference because it tired that torpedo line out.
It's a massive difference when you can roll 4 lines, and rather than just about like back in the day when you effectively used to have your brick kids on your 4th line and they may get 1 or 2 shifts for 5 seconds each. When you can effectively roll 4 lines like we're doing, it leaves you in that position of strength again, and that goes back as well when we were talking earlier in the week about squad depth. I mean, you've seen it. Yes, Marcin, who hopefully is not out too long, we're able to bring Johnny Curran in. Yeah. And he had a good game in the final as well. So it's
Curran came so close to scoring at one point, and I thought that's just typical because didn't he score on his debut when he first came and signed for us? I was like, that's just kind of a statement. Now, interesting what you pointed out that Marcin went off injured on Friday. I mean, maybe there needs to be a conversation had about whether or not we're extending Johnny Curran because I don't know if that's possible. I don't know what the rules are. But I mean,
because Fossier's on injured reserve. Basically, you've got Curran until Fossier is declared fit to play again, and they effectively re-register him. So we've got Curran until unless he wants to leave, of course. Who knows? But I think from that perspective, we're okay. I can't get over how bloody well we've played this week. To 4 goals in every game.
Only conceding 2 throughout the whole tournament.
In the last 90 seconds of the bloody tournament. And again, like I said, different games, different players have stepped up. We're just so good. And I did say it last night, didn't I? I was just like, you know what? F it. We're winning the Champions League next year.
Wow. Lofty ambitions. But we can all dare to dream. I think the one thing that stood out for me, particularly in the 3 games we played, was how the players reacted to the atmosphere for the Katowice game. Because that was a cauldron of noise. And let's be fair, the Katowice fans, wow. That is some serious backing and some support.
I feel like they all went to drama school because honestly the projection of their voices was incredible. Absolutely incredible. The Herning fans, they made a good fist of it, but the Katowice fans were something else.
Yeah, I mean all the fans there. Well, the teams who had fans there, because obviously Mogo didn't really have many fans there, nor did Torpedo, but
Mogo had 40, 50 fans.
Yeah,
I know a lot of them. Then during one of the games, a few of our lot went and sat with them and were chanting along with them and stuff. But no, that first game they were at, because there was a load in the boxes.
Okay.
And then their fans then moved over. That's why they moved over to block 15 or 14, something like that. Yeah. Because they were all sat together. But the Torpedo fans, there was 2 ladies and some kids there for the first game, but then their second game, and obviously last night there were probably about 30 of them as well. So it's been a really good showing when you think, especially for them to come from as far east in Europe as you can possibly get. Almost, you're practically in Asia. It's, and let's say the Angers fans were terrific. You got a decent video of them doing the French national anthem, didn't you? The Danish fans were, they were in fine form, as you'd expect when your round is four pints of cider, which is cheaper than the one pint that they pay for in their arena, sort of thing. So
they definitely took advantage of the prices over here, didn't they?
I mean, getting back to that middle game that we played against Katowice. Danny said after that game, I think Tim Doherty said something in his post-match interview about just being completely taken aback by the atmosphere in the building that was generated by both sets of fans, not just the Katowice fans. I think our fans were absolutely superb.
Again, we said, didn't we? I think for us, when our fans travel, we go to away games, 99% of the time we're really noisy, and we could take 20 fans with us, we could take 300 fans with us like we did up to Scotland. We had to bring that sort of atmosphere and that effort and that buy-in to that game against Katowice in particular, and you could tell it was terrific. I've said, obviously it was, for me, it was almost that Burn game level with that Burn game noise-wise. What a week! What a week!
It'd be amazing if every hockey game was like that and played in such a.
I wouldn't begrudge anybody if Saturday's game. Are we playing Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember. Our next home game, I wouldn't begrudge anybody if we literally just sat on our hands and let's just get some recovery going.
I'm not sure whether voices will be recovered in time for next weekend's home game, but credit to all the fans that sort of made the efforts to come from near and from very far in Torpedo's case. But it's just wonderful. I think it was like a real carnival of hockey. And as well as the hockey, it's almost like the friendships and the new people you meet along the way, and there's little spontaneous like meetings with fans from the other clubs where you sort of just maybe have a couple of words here or there because of the language differences. But
what was it? And then Jono's daughter just walks up to a Herning fan and said, "Can I have your helmet?" And then one of them gave her like one of the Ultras t-shirts as well. Bless him. I mean, it is, obviously in every single fan base you do get one or two knobheads, but the vast majority have been fantastic. It's been great to mix with all the different fans from all the clubs and even fans from around the league and stuff. Obviously some of our pals from Coventry came up for the game yesterday. We've got new friends from Bracknell, so
I was going to say I've seen a few NIHL shirts dotted around over the course of the weekend, so it's been really interesting to see who's come up.
We already said that apparently there were some Cardiff fans that had travelled up to support Angers, so it's nice that they got sent home miserable. But it's a terrific week. I know we were very critical earlier in the week because of the numbers that had attended, in particular the afternoon games and how quiet it was and what have you. But you get it because it's first couple of weeks after Christmas. People, we've had to obviously take a pretty much a week. I know, Tina, you've had to work like half days, haven't you? But we're in lucky positions where we've been able to take holiday and stuff and to enjoy the week. And I'm losing words to just to say how utterly delighted and happy I am about the state our club's in at the moment. And you know what, I said it from the start of the season. I said we were doing a Super Slam. Even if we don't, I think we can be proud of what Danny is doing for this club. Obviously that's 2 seasons, 2 trophies. We've got 3 more to get, haven't we? And that's like Danny's interview last night. One of the quotes from that is just like, we'll enjoy this, but now we've got 3 more to go, 3 more to hunt down. The players that that I was speaking to, I was just like, that's 1 down, we've got 3 more to go. And they were all, we're dialed in, we're going to enjoy this, but we're going to, we're dialed in.
Well, I think that is the thing as well, because we all noticed it last night when we went into Saltbox. It's like, because obviously you weren't there for playoff, for the post-playoff party, but me and Adam and Paul had said as well, it was a different feel because it wasn't an end of season blowout. It was a mid-season. We won a trophy. Let's have a little celebrate. But we've still got a job to do. I mean, you could see which players desperately needed a post beer chips. But they've probably got a couple of days to recover until the next practice. Or I'm sure Danny can afford to give them a couple of days off to go and rest, recuperate, recover, because they've just had.
They played 3 games in 4 days.
Yes, exactly.
So there's going to be some really, really weary and tired legs out there. not least because of the tempo and the pace that some of those games were played at, which were insane.
Well, you could tell there was a definite intensity, more so than what we've seen so far in any of the league, domestic play. It was more akin to the end of the season, or where you're chasing a trophy, or like playoffs was for us last season. There was that level of intensity to it.
And the format of the competition meant that you couldn't have a day off.
No.
Or you couldn't even have a period off, because if you had a period off, the quality of the opposition would punish you.
Yeah.
So, given the format of this particular competition, which I actually quite like, and I hope the IIHF maybe investigate carrying it on in future.
My only wish would be that all 6 teams have to qualify, as opposed to giving 4 of them a bye.
True.
Sorry.
Adam. I think that the sort of intensity that the guys were playing at, across those 3 games in 4 days, blimey, they all deserve several beers, and definitely a day off tomorrow.
Well, today. Depending what time they got in.
Yeah.
Richard Davies got in touch on the Book of Face, and he basically backs up what we've just said about all the performances from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But he's picked out Vulcan, Armour, Spencer and Stridsberg.
Yeah.
My boy Stridsberg. Stritty, yeah.
Well, we talked about it earlier in the week as well. Chase Pearson has had some absolute marquee games this week, I think. We know he's good, we know the man's class, but I think he's absolutely stepped it up. This is the player that we knew we were getting, and he's shown why. I think he was just such a presence this week. He was just a presence. He's obviously not racked up a ton of points, because the points have been nicely spread out, amongst the team. But he made contributions in other ways.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier in the week. Is that you've got a player like that, you can't stop him one-on-one. So it has to draw another D-man away, or one of their forwards away, and that frees somebody else up, and his line mates benefit from that.
Yeah.
His hockey IQ is fantastic. And it was nice of him to come round and spend some time with us last night. So appreciate that as well. And let's have the party for the rest of the night, and then back to work on Monday.
Yeah. I imagine there'll be 1 or 2 of them just doing what I'm going to do later, actually, and just curl up on the sofa and binge a box set.
I'd be surprised if any have surfaced yet.
I've got a bit of wrestling to catch up on, and match of the day, and then I might just stick a Netflix on and then see what happens. I might put back to Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something like that.
Well, actually, having said that, I haven't watched Zdeno Chara's jersey retirement yet, so that's definitely on today's agenda for me.
You sure you didn't cry enough yesterday? You want to be crying more after that?
No, do you know something?
You've got nothing left.
No. Well, do you know actually? I said this because I got the one of the night buses back with Jono and Paul last night, and we were obviously heavily in discussion throughout the whole journey. I didn't. There was no emotional release for me. I didn't cry. There was no. I was pleased, obviously. I was really, I loved it. I was euphoric when we won, when the end of the game came, but it wasn't quite the intensity level of when we won the playoffs, for example, because the playoffs, that game was in jeopardy. There was some jeopardy about the result for that. I went into the game yesterday fully confident that we were going to win. I would have cried if we'd lost, because I would have been so disappointed because of the potential of this team. And watching all the other games over the course of the week, I knew we were better than all those teams. So I would have cried if we'd have lost, because the disappointment would have just been too much to take, because I'd gone into that game with so much confidence. And there were no tears because we won, because I was like, I knew that was going to happen. We deserved that.
The playoff one was different as well, because it's our first trophy after seasons of heartbreak and absolute dross as well. So, but for me, I will never get tired of seeing my team lift silverware.
No.
And then I was sat in bunkers after the game, and our mates from Coventry came up, and I just took one look at him, and that I just went at that point, and he just gave me this, and I can feel myself going again now, and we just hugged it out, and with the staff and all that, we're all like jumping around like lunatics, and yeah, come on. We've got to do this 3 more times. Come on.
If we do it 3 more times, then we will all be mentally and emotionally spent.
Yeah. When we do it, you just shut the club down. It's all right, we can't beat this now, other than winning the Champions League.
I think that's very unlikely unless Neil Black's got incredibly deep pockets. But yeah, I think you're talking about the emotions of it. You're right. I think the playoff final, earlier. I was going to say earlier this year, we're in 2026 now, aren't we? But back in 2025 was different because of the sort of incredible yo-yoing of emotions during that final. Whereas the final yesterday, it was almost like the perfect final if you sort of airbrush those 2 torpedo goals out, because we just played a brilliant game, and we completely.
Management all week's been brilliant.
It has been. And so we just locked torpedo out. We didn't really give them a sniff.
But we're saying as well, stay out the box. And how many? We got very few penalties over this week as well. So
exactly. So the discipline was commendable from all the guys in black and gold. But the emotions were just weird for me because, as you can probably tell if you're listening to this, I've not been very well for the last few days at all. And I'm convinced it's some sort of chest infection, and talking has been really, really difficult.
No. Let's be right about this. You have ripped your vocal cords out of your throat, essentially. They are so damaged. You were broken on Wednesday. You went early.
Yeah, I do feel like I've put the shift of all shifts in as a fan.
But then you could tell because when I came into Saltbox behind Tina and Paul last night, you were just sort of sat there taking it all in. I think you'd gone. I'd said it before. You had nothing left.
I was empty. I was literally empty. I'd totally gone to the well, and I think it was just sort of the adrenaline of actually winning the competition, and being there as a fan to sort of take it all in. That was getting me through because people were trying to talk to me after the game last night, and I wasn't able to say anything, and it felt really weird, and so I sort of ostracised myself a little bit.
That tension that was in, and I said that I was confident going in, but of course I still had the nerves going in because you want people to live up to expectations and what have you. But it was just like the tenseness leading into that game, but then when that first goal went in. It just relaxed completely. My chest is still killing. I'm not going to lie. My voice is not quite as shot as yours two's, but I think I've definitely picked up the not the playoff cold anymore, is it? It's the Conti Cup cold that's been going around, but. It's worth it. I tell you what.
I was going to say, we're mainlining Jakeman's and Strepsils at the minute.
Jakeman's on the table. I've consumed about 2 Lemsips already today. It's some sort of a miracle that I'm able to still even try and talk and converse with you guys on this podcast.
Well, let's call it then. Because what more have we got? Let's not look forward to next week because I don't even want to think about it. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's go look back. I've got about 500 blooming photos on my phone that I'm going to have to go through and delete a lot of the crap. And let's bask in our glory. We've got our tea tray back. Which one's next? Cup semi-final next, isn't it? With some league games as well. We've got a nice quiet weekend coming up against 2 home games against Belfast. Oh, that's going to be a quiet one, isn't it? I have to say, what am I going to do?
I think we all need to go and hibernate for a couple of weeks and just allow our internal organs to recover.
Like top level elite sports teams go away and have a mid-season break somewhere warm and nice to relax, and you get their bodies back around.
I think it'll be taking the mickey if I get some more annual leave for next week. But
I was contemplating what's in the TCW budget.
It's about 5p, mate. So you might get like 0.5 seconds in a tanning booth or something.
Might get as far as Bulwell.
Bulwell Bogs. Well, a nice trip out to Bulwell Bogs.
Oh dear. I mean, there's nothing relaxing about going to Bulwell Bogs, mate. So let's just walk away from that discussion. I'll have a word with my sister. Just see if she can open the bar for us, and we'll see if we can book some sunshine over there on the Costa del Sol, perhaps. Yes. let's leave that there, gentlemen. I think we've had an absolutely fantastic week. We've seen some belting hockey. We've seen the just an incredible level of intensity from our team, the commitment level from the organisation and from the boys on the ice has just been second to none. And you know, it gives us the confidence to come back domestically and just chase the rest of those trophies down.
Well, I think, hopefully the guys that weren't involved in the playoff finals weekend last season, that's whetted their appetite for more. They've seen how the Panthers fan base reacted and responded to that win yesterday, and hopefully their hunger levels, I'm sure they were high already, but they're going to be yet higher still because, to quote Anne, they probably want to win the lot as well. And they probably feel that they can win the lot.
Yeah.
And when have we been able to say that in recent seasons, that we have got a team that we think are capable of challenging on all four fronts? Yeah. So, 1 down, 3 to go. I think Ant was saying that several times to players last night in Saltbox. But they were all sort of going, yeah, absolutely. So they know the brief. Yeah.
They're focused. They're ready, and we can have some confidence in them. Just before we do sign off, so very sad news coming out of Belfast that young Blake McCaughey has passed away at the age of 18. He's a Belfast fan. Bless him, had lots of health complications. Always had the hope that he could plough through and just continue to be a presence for the Belfast Giants and an ambassador, bless him. But unfortunately he's lost the battle, and we would like to send our deepest sympathies to the family and friends, and to the Belfast Giants organisation, because you guys took him to your hearts, so you guys will be feeling that one today as well. Right, gentlemen, we're going to go away and hibernate for a little while, come back domestically, and we'll get back into the swing of things, because 4 podcasts in 5 days is quite an incredible feat just for us, quite frankly. It's an absolutely fantastic week of continental hockey. Really enjoyed it. The Panthers organisation and the Motorpoint Arena have absolutely excelled themselves once again, and hopefully we can do it all again in the near future. So assuming we put ourselves in a position to win one of the rest of the trophies, maybe we'll be talking about this time next year. Who knows? Right. Thank you very much to you guys for listening all through the week, continuing to stick with us for the season. And we will see you in an indescript amount of time when our voices have returned to some semblance of normal. But until then, from Adam.
Bye, everybody.
And from Ant.
Take care, everybody. And we'll see you on the flip.
And from myself, TTFM. We'll see you next time.